Welcome back to Comanche Episode 2. Or I guess technically it's Episode 6. Whatever, nobody cares. So the thing with Cherry Pie is it's always sat really high in the back. When I bought it, the past owner had just put brand new leaf springs in it, and the rear fender sits a solid 4.5 inches higher than the front. I've always thought it looked kind of ridiculous, and while I do plan on lowering the truck someday, for the time being I want it to at least try to sit level. I happened across a pair of smaller tires one day, 205/65/15. These are Bridgestone Blizzaks, in almost the size I want to end up with. They were $30 at a garage sale, so I put them on the rear to get it a little more level. In the last episode, I picked up an engine and a two-wheel drive AX15 from Steiner. I'll put this AX15 in the truck someday, but the engine was going to be for my XJ, which has developed piston slap. Hearing this for the first time had me kinda concerned, and I was ready to throw another engine in it, but then I remembered, this is a 4-liter. I'm just gonna keep driving it. This newly acquired engine was full of tons of carbon anyway, and not only do I not know how to deal with that, but I also don't want to. So I offered it to Bunny, who probably already has way more 4-liters than he could ever need, in exchange for a radiator with a cap on it. Seems fair. Before I go to Michigan, though, I was alerted to a family emergency in Florida. I had to make it there as soon as possible, and everything was immediately put on hold. I was to leave that day, but had to decide which of the vehicles to take. At the time, I considered if I take the XJ with piston slap and these almost bald tires, either the engine will explode or the tires will, neither of which I can deal with on the side of the road. If I take the MJ, either the rubber glove holding the entire cooling system together will explode, or the starter will fall out, both of which I can deal with on the side of the road. So the MJ was going back to Florida. Before I even got out of Wisconsin, I noticed the engine RPM was sitting way too high, cruising at 70. This was partially a result of those smaller tires on the back, but mostly a result of the torque converter lock not engaging. I stopped at a gas station in Beloit, noting an average of 17 mpg where the truck would normally get 20, and on site this confirmed my diagnosis. On automatic Renix XJs and MJs, there is a white button on the brake pedal that will disengage the torque converter lock when you press the brake. It does this by interrupting electrical continuity between the two wires that plug into it. Basically, when this button is being pressed, as in the brake pedal is not being pressed, signal flows from one wire to the other, telling the TCM it can engage the torque converter lock, which lowers RPM at cruising speeds to net you better MPG. When you press the brake, the torque converter lock is disengaged as a safeguard in case you slow down enough to potentially stall the engine or something, which would just be embarrassing in an automatic. Testing this button sensor with a multimeter confirmed it somehow failed in a way that was not allowing electrical signal through it, thus making the TCM think I was always pressing the brake pedal, thus not allowing it to engage the torque converter lock. So I grabbed a small piece of wire from my toolkit and just shoved it into the connector to bypass this switch, making it assume I was never pressing the brake. The torque converter lock worked for the rest of the trip. The only detrimental side effect of bypassing this sensor is you can't slam on the brakes at the same time as holding the gas, which you shouldn't ever be doing anyway. If you just let go of the gas pedal, the torque converter unlocks already. The only reason this exists is precautionary. Continuing south, I unfortunately had to enter Illinois. Oh yeah, I hate saying that word. And I knew this is where everything would fall apart. It started raining, and while using the windshield wipers, the passenger side one just fell off. The splines inside the arm itself somehow stripped, so for the rest of the trip wear on one windshield wiper.
Items every day. Flying J app for great deals on your favorite.
Entering Kentucky, I decelerated off the interstate for another fuel stop, and the rear brakes locked up. I powered through it over to a Walmart parking lot to let them cool down for a while, and I took a nap. The next morning, Ryder helped me diagnose the issue. It was either something in the drum, which made me realize I don't have a jack with me, or that load sensing valve under the bed, which is a pretty common failure point. For now, unable to get the wheels off and short on time, I disconnected the load sensing valve, let it rest in its closed position to cut off any fluid from the rear brakes, and also put a vice grip on the hose, which means for the rest of the trip, I only have front brakes. At this point, I'm 3 for 3, with a mechanical failure in every state so far. Tennessee was up next, and I was paranoid about what new issue would reveal itself. But thankfully, I made it the rest of the way without any more problems. Arriving at my dad's house, that rubber glove on the coolant bottle was still there, and so was the starter. I made it in time. While here in Florida, having just attended a family catastrophe, somebody in New York managed to steal my debit card information and emptied my entire bank account. Now I was stuck here, with not a cent to my name until the bank could process a fraud claim, which would end up taking about 2 weeks. In those 2 weeks, I tried to make the best of things. I had brought a set of vent windows down here with the intention of installing them. Obviously, Florida is a lot hotter than Wisconsin, and we've torn out the non-functional AC in this truck long ago. But now I needed gas money, so I met up with Pebbles from the XJ Discord server. He bought the vent windows off me to put in his beautiful 1996. I love this color, and the sort of contrast with the red here, it goes so well. Beautiful thing. I then headed over to the tire shop I used to work at to get the MJ up on a lift so I can inspect these rear brakes. Everything seemed to be in order, but the front shoe on the driver's side was completely stuck. It wasn't rusted, the wheel cylinder had seized internally. Wheel cylinders are only like $20 at a parts store, but now that someone stole all my money, I couldn't replace it at the time. At least we know what the issue is, though. I also took this opportunity to delete the spare tire, which was original, and somehow the mechanism still worked. I had never seen such a thing before. And otherwise inspected the underside, still looking very clean. Got a pretty major power steering fluid leak from the input shaft of the steering box, which apparently disintegrated the sway bar bushing. This has been an issue for a long time, though. This isn't new, and hey, if I delete the power steering, it can't leak anymore. Also, when I was at my dad's house, my stepmom was reversing out of the driveway in her 2015 Ford Escape, and the reverse camera just had an error, like it just said, camera not available. So instead of, I don't know, looking behind her or looking in the mirror to see behind her, she just did not look behind her and reversed into my truck, putting a big old dent in the corner of the bumper. So you'll probably notice this little dent here from now on. I'm not really that worried about it though, because it's an XJ bumper and they're everywhere. I could get a replacement for like $50, so yeah, that's what happened with that. Ronnie and Jenna caught wind I was in the area. They had recently acquired a 2005 Wrangler LJ and were headed to a shop in Daytona Beach called Jerry's Jeeps. I met them there and we exchanged the LJ's hardtop for a soft top the way it's meant to be. This place, I have it linked in the description, was really cool. They have Wranglers for days, and it's mostly the actual Wranglers, YJs and TJs, not really any fake-ass JKs. They did also have an MJ around, so that's where I went. I don't know what year it was, but it was a 4-liter automatic 4-wheel drive long bed with a Chrysler 8 1/4 swapped in. 102,000 miles, and ready for many more. It also happened that an annual Jeep meetup was happening that weekend, so we headed over to Jeep Beach to check out hundreds, if not thousands of Jeeps from all over the place. I showed up with the MJ expecting to be the only one there, but there was one other. This absolutely immaculate truck here, a fully restored 1991 Comanche Eliminator. This one made mine look like a barn find shitbox. Just look at this thing, man. You had to be there to believe it. But there was a lot of very interesting Jeeps here. Red YJs, white YJs, custom 60s green YJs, Islander YJs. This is the one I would drive. I'm definitely an XJ MJ guy, but I do like the old Wranglers and CJs too. And yes, we did manage to find an XJ tucked away here. But it all meant nothing as soon as this beast showed up. This is a real authentic 1940s World War II military Jeep. Top speed about 40 miles an hour. Light enough for 4 guys to pick up and carry.
That's a lot more
so
efficient than that
cool.
little under hood light that they started doing.
It's as simple as it gets. You can fly ahead forward.
This is not something I ever expected to see. Definitely the best Jeep out of all of them there. And I got a sailor duck to keep me company on the ride back. What a day that was. But with the bank finally processing my fraud claim, I got my money back and it was time to go home. Definitely not how I envisioned spending April, but I took the opportunity to get my toolbox and the last load of my stuff, including this Honda Elite moped my dad never uses. It doesn't run anymore, but hopefully I can figure that out. In my preliminary road trip checks, I noticed the serpentine belt is beginning to fray, most likely I think from the wobbling power steering pulley I noted in the last video. Now, I could obviously just replace the belt and or that pulley, but I still want to delete the power steering, which is leaking fluid, so it'd be redundant to replace any of it, to just delete it later. Hopefully this belt can last until then. I went up to Tallahassee and met Ronnie and Jenna one last time to check out their 2.5-liter automatic XJ, which got its own video. Unimaginably slow, I say statistically the most useless XJ of all time, so go check out that one for a little side quest adventure. On the way north in Alabama, it started downpouring pretty hard, and my only remaining windshield wiper quit working. The module under the dash died, so now I don't have any windshield wipers, and I had to stop for the night to wait for the rain to end. The rest of the trip was rather uneventful though. I made it back home, unloaded all this stuff, got the garage set up nice and good, and could finally actually fix something on this truck. A while ago, Expo gifted me these Brown Dog engine mounts after realizing they were a bit too rough for his liking. They are their rubber mounts, not polyurethane, but you'll note compared to a stock mount, there is a lot less rubber, meaning especially at idle, you'll feel a lot more vibrations from the engine. Not ideal for a daily driver, but very ideal for race truck. Cherry Pie has needed engine mounts ever since I got it. The engine is sitting so low, we could never even fit a fan shroud in there, which is why Cam had this license plate bolted here. In disassembly, I very quickly discovered the passenger side bolt hits the oil filter, and upon removing the oil filter, it hits the adapter too. So now the oil filter adapter has to come off, and at that point, may as well convert it to the much more common and easier to find 91 Plus oil filter. I got the engine mounts in there and had one of those new style filter adapters just laying around, replaced the O-rings in it, and reassembled it all. Something that might make changing this filter adapter easier is, undoing the engine mounts and lifting the engine up, because I could actually fit a ratchet with the full T60 Torx bit thing in there. So that was kind of nice. I got it tightened down real good, and it's angled a little bit towards the back. So there's room between the filter and the bolt. You can see that is actually still pretty close. That should be fine though. And I know it's not authentic, but now that I got the engine mount and the 91 Plus filter adapter on there, it no longer takes metric thread pitch oil filters. So I'm gonna ruin and deface the truck. The engine's sitting a lot more level now. I think it's like an inch higher than it used to be. Maybe I can fit a fan shroud in there finally. Like the engine mounts were so bad that the fan was like sitting close enough to the radiator you couldn't even get a shroud in there. Anyway, the bolt that went through this right here had this fake like circular nut on the underside of it, and it just broke off. So I had to grab it with vice grips to loosen this. I just grabbed an extra bolt that I had from a cross member because I just had a matching nut for it. That side was pretty easy. It was this side that gave me all the trouble because I had to take off the oil filter adapter and everything. But these nuts go to 40 foot-pounds, and the through bolts go to 48 foot-pounds. Here's the old engine mounts. Definitely not doing so good. And I got a fan shroud in there. It slid right in, no problem. So it's almost like, if the engine is properly located in the engine bay, you can get a fan shroud in it. And I'm in the midst of actually changing out the shift cable for the column shift. I got the original floor shift cable out, and it's way longer than the column shift cable. Column shift is 57 inches vaguely, and the floor shift is 92 inches. So as I may have discussed earlier, you can use the floor shift cable with a column shift, but you'll just have like 10 feet of extra cable laying around the engine bay. So I'm going to put in this shorter one so it cleans things up a bit. Here's your column shift routing. It just goes through this hole that I got to put the grommet in under the brake booster. And behind the distribution block, you're going to be very tempted to put it around this way, but it's not quite long enough. It has to go behind the distribution block and then right down to the transmission. And that brake booster is not looking good. It's pretty rusty. I'll fix that someday. I'm just going to put the air box back and the washer bottle and then go drive it. To convert an MJ or XJ to column shift, you need a column shift column, obviously, the indicator in the cluster, unless, like me, you can just remember the universal PRND 321 positions. And I'm going to manual swap the thing someday anyway, so I'm not going to worry about the cluster indicator. The shorter shift cable, which you don't technically need, but you should get. And the brake pedal. Unique to a column shift, you need the brake pedal because of its bracket, which has a mount for the cable at this end. Without this mount, you can't shift because the whole case of the cable just flops around. You need it to be securely mounted so the cable itself actually moves when you shift. So, time to test all these things out.
Stop. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure that one out too. Or I could just delete Renix. Oh. How smooth. You fools. I have automatic swapped my automatic. So at idle, it's definitely more rattly at idle. The dash is not bolted in right now, so it wouldn't make that much noise normally. But I can definitely feel there's a lot more vibration at idle, but as soon as you step on it, it's nice, man. It feels so much more planted. I didn't think it would make that big of a difference, and I didn't know bad motor mounts made XJ MJs feel like unplanted, it just felt loose before, but it felt normal to me because I guess I've never really driven one with brand new engine mounts. But it spends less power twisting the engine and more power just, turning the wheels, which is very nice. I very much like these engine mounts. I think they fit this truck excellently. Thank you, Expo. And I kind of already forgot, but our high output oil filter works too. It's not spewing oil everywhere, and we still have good oil pressure, so that's a nice upgrade because those newer style filters are way easier to find. And I had one just laying around. I didn't have to run to the store and get it or anything. I actually just happened to have a set of O-rings brand new in packaging and a 91 plus filter just sitting around, so it was a good day. Alright, so now all that's done, 40-something days later, I could finally go to Michigan to deliver this engine to Bunny, who, if you remember, is the crazed maniac I sold the bastard truck to. You guys remember the bastard MJ, right? The one with the frame that looks like this? The one he uses to tow things? Yeah, that one. I miss it. Let's head over there and see how it's doing. Take a guess at what state I'm in. There's a couple clues. First of all, we've got fib license plate. Alright, that's a clue. Second of all, we got the state flower lining the left lane. That's another clue. Thirdly, we are not moving anywhere on the interstate. And fourthly, there's 10 miles of construction. 10 fucking miles. Okay? And at the very end of it, at the exact end of the construction, there's a fucking crash. Fuck! This is an interstate, not a race car track. Oh, well then why are we going 20 miles an hour?
Dude, there's nothing in there. That's empty.
Yeah, there's not even like a layer on the bottom of
There's
that.
no noise. That is just pure empty gas tank. I don't hear any splashing.
Oh
You
boy.
got here just...
I wonder how much is in it. We'll have to find out.
Okay, the closest gas station is like a mile.
Okay.
So you just have to make it a mile to the marathon right there.
Okay.
Or we could try to do the 3 mile, but it's downhill. Got 2 choices. So bad.
That's my radiator cap.
I want to pop it so bad.
No. I drove all the way to
Oh my
Florida and
gosh,
back
dude,
with
that thing's gonna burst so much. You could smell the glove.
That thing made it... I've driven, what, like... at least 3,000 miles on that glove.
That's insane.
Yeah.
It's tearing.
I see that. I got a backup right there.
That thing's ready to pop. I'm almost wondering if it was rubbing on the...
Oh, it might have been.
I think it was, right there. That's insane. Right there, that was my finger. But that, I think...
Yeah, I see.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my...
Custom radiator cap.
How is that glove?
Oh.
And it hit my good side. It took out my door handle. Actually, I put the door handle back, but this is what the door handle looks like.
Yeah, just barely reached it too, man.
But it dented this spot, which is really going to be hard to fix. And it dented here, and it dented this whole side.
Dang.
And
Well,
it's
at least it
scratched.
didn't break the window. Shit.
I know, that's crazy. It actually hit. It started right here. It hit right here.
Yeah, like if you would have parked it another inch over, it would have broke the window.
You're right. Or if I went further that way. But now I can't get into my Jeep. It's like it's telling me something. Like I shouldn't
Yeah.
drive this.
Goddamn.
Yeah, she did it.
Okay.
So there these two were, reunited again. Where have I heard that before? As soon as Bunny got this truck, the starter died. He replaced it with the absolute cheapest China Temu bullshit starter he could find. Like, he literally paid $10 for this starter. And coming as a surprise to no one, the new starter quit working in like 2 months. So we decided to try and figure out why.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds like there's something wrong with the starter.
That's why I do second.
Bruh, you didn't do it right. No, you're just not good at it. Get me in there. I'll push start it. Watch this shit. All right, watch and learn, Bunny.
It depends on the speed.
Yeah, I gave you a head start. I might not be able to do it without some help.
This is first gear?
Yeah, I got it.
Jeez, I wouldn't go that vicious. I can't believe it. That's probably why it works for you. When I first got it, I didn't have to dump it that hard. But as time went on, it had to be dumped harder and harder. But no, I would never dump it that hard.
Easy. Okay. Well, it seems
It goes
to work.
out.
Yeah. Damn, listen to that thing.
Got to do both.
Yeah, that's tricky. It works.
Oh, you see that? It like
Yeah.
drops down. Something about it doesn't seem right. Like it's not staying out. But you know
Okay.
what? That does look. Oh wait, you know what? I remember this. These bolts are loose. I bet you if I tighten those up, it'll improve.
Okay.
Well, let's try without first. Okay.
All right, watch out, everyone.
What?
Yeah. It's so tired.
Wait, it shouldn't let you do that. I did just the signal wire, and the whole thing tried turning over. Wait, I gotta do both at the same time.
Yeah, it's dead. It's acting the same way it was when it was my truck. It's dead.
No, you thought it was the alternator and the battery died.
Yeah, I know, but it was
but
the
it finally,
starter.
well, yeah, but it finally died when I got it.
Yeah. You can hear how tired it is.
Pushing against it.
Oh God.
It's holding, right?
No, it still bounces.
Hey, it works. Barely. But like I said, I'm gonna try tightening those to see if that changes anything. 14, 15,
yeah, 14.9.
14.2, 12.5. I don't know how much of a difference that makes, but...
Oh, well, that's like 2.
Yeah.
2 what, millimeters?
Here, I'll show you.
Or...
That's the difference. You think that could be causing it to not contact all the way and grind?
I guess anything's possible. I don't know.
Okay.
Make sure it's in neutral.
It's in neutral.
It spins the engine. Okay. Well, I think it's safe to say the solenoid wire is not the problem.
Yeah, that's what... Like that.
Do it again. Yeah, I think it's a dead starter.
Why does it do that, though? The starter's starting, it's just not staying. Nothing's changed, it's just only gotten worse.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Dude, the bushing in the shift lever even feels worn out.
No, it's been like that. That's been like that.
Oh, look at how slow it is. Good old truck.
Yeah. He still lives.
And we've run out of forward gears.
And that's it. That's all we got. I just noticed I can see the ground.
Yeah, the cardboard floor. One of the major selling points of this thing.
Dude, it's like muscle memory. Everything's muscle memory for you now. Like you just like perfectly downshift to that.
Still hold together.
You're telling me you've been driving it like this when you had it.
Yeah.
I've been babying it thinking it's gonna crack in half at any moment.
It'll crack in half when it's ready.
There's that speed bump, bro. Oh my god, I would have never done that.
It'll crack in half when it's ready. Oh, it's not ready yet.
How is it not?
Its time has not come.
I can't believe it. I would have never thought that you were driving it like that. Just a little bit more speed. Just a little bit. I don't feel like I could get it in four-wheel drive, but it's quite a workout.
Yeah, it's a process, I know. Wow, yeah.
That was sick.
You did a dirt burnout with the bastard truck.
What? That was sick. Look at that.
Yeah, good job.
This is invasive. I gotta rip all this off.
Isn't this like your neighbor's yard? Yeah, I think there is definitely vines on the drive shaft. Look at these HOA losers.
Yeah, they get to see me. Feel my wrath.
Yeah, you showed that tree all right.
I showed it.
Yeah, you did.
After some 4-cylinder action, it was time for some 6-cylinder action. This is Bunny's 2001 Cherokee Limited with a 4.6-liter stroker engine in it. He also took out the dual manifold catalysts, running just open manifolds, which technically means it has a true dual exhaust, and that sounds very out of place.
That's so weird.
It's on the opposite. They're opposite.
Yeah.
I swear it's opposite.
I've never heard a 4-liter like that. That's, well, I guess it's technically not a 4-liter anymore, but
4.6, yeah, I don't know what difference that makes.
that's weird. Well, I guess I
traction for a second there.
wasn't really expecting that, but that was kind of cool.
I know, it's fun that Jeep can do that.
Guys, maybe I should put a stroker in the MJ. Inconclusive as of now. I'll have to see what they can do with a manual transmission. Anyway, I had delivered the engine to Bunny, and now have a radiator for the truck. There was a lot of still images in this one, I know, because when this was all happening, I still hadn't edited Moab or anything, so I had 130 gigabytes of unedited footage on my phone, and I couldn't really record anything more. I'm almost caught up now, but don't think that means I'm out of ideas. I'll see you in the next one.
Oh no. Okay. Oh. Dang it. I try to be gentle and make the ball like...
Yeah. Oh, we got it.
Dang. I saved it, but at what cost?